Hey guys, it's Morgan coming to you from Highland Cycles with another how-to video. Today we're going to be cleaning a carburetor. Specifically, it's on this CRF 230L. But honestly, carburetor cleaning is about the same across the board. We've already done a video on the FCR carburetor, which is definitely different. So check that out if you haven't already. I'll put a link in the description. Also, two-stroke carburetors are a little different from four-stroke. Anyway, but the principles are basically the same. So this is more of a simple carburetor. You can check it out. It's a CV carburetor, which means constant velocity. And this is the old school way of trying to compensate for altitude with this diaphragm, right? So let me show you something. So the way a CV carburetor works is that when you twist the throttle, you're actually opening this butterfly, okay? So your right wrist goes like this, and this goes like this. But if you look in there, you can see there's a diaphragm. So now this is the airbox side, this is the motor side. So you're opening the motor side. Then you've got this diaphragm up. The diaphragm's actually up here. You have this other slide that has to come up out of the way to then open the main jet, right? So like on a flat slide carburetor, or most two-stroke carburetors, things like that, when you twist the throttle, it opens up the main jet and gas goes in and all that. This operates on pressure differences. So when you open the throttle over here, like I said, that side, okay, it lets, it starts to draw air in. That air comes across through this opening, and then what it does is as the pressure gets lower on top, so more air is coming through and pressure gets lower, this slide raises up to then allow more gas. So that is the old school way of trying to compensate for altitude before fuel injection came along. Let me show you how this works with a little bit of an air nozzle. So it helps me to see things work for my tiny little brain. So let me show you how this thing works with an air nozzle. So watch. Now, when I spray air across, that is how a CV carburetor works. When you twist your throttle and open that butterfly, more air comes across, and then, like I said, it lowers the pressure above the slide, raising the slide up using this diaphragm. So now we're going to clean the thing. We'll show you how that goes. First part of this, taking the flow bowl off. One of the keys to this going well is using a good, sharp Phillips head screwdriver and not using some all rounded out thing. This one's actually in pretty good shape. It's not my best one, but it's going to work just fine. You want to be square up, straight down on the, right down on the screw, and then twist, and it comes off. And I just go around all of them. Now, since I have this tray here, I can just kind of like set things down. If you don't have a nice place with raised sides, you're going to want to find a place to put those. So now, take this off. Sometimes, so see how it's stuck? This bike hasn't run in at least, like, I think 3 years, at least 2. So when they're stuck like that, you can't pull them. I just take the back of the screwdriver, like you don't have to go crazy, and just tap. Boom. You don't want to go crazy. Obviously, you don't want to break it. It's aluminum. So you see that kind of yellowish tinge in there? That's what gets left behind when gas evaporates. So that, call it varnish, whatever. If you could smell it, it smells disgusting. So there we go. That's off. Sometimes these pins are stuck, right? And they don't want to come out. Some of them are kind of pressed in anyway. Do not, under any circumstances, get a hammer and try to knock that thing out. You will break one of the towers off, and you'll ruin the carburetor and have to throw it away. So I recommend, if it's not wanting to come off, this one, see, if I do that, it wants to come out. You can see it coming out of the bottom. Let me show you. Kind of wiggle it, and it's wanting to come out. So that works, but let me show you the other method when I get them that they're super stuck. Get a center punch, like that, okay? And then the way a center punch works is, I'll just show you on this. You come over here, and when you line it up, it's nice and sharp on the tip. Line it up, and you push down, and it just taps straight where you want. So this one doesn't need it. I'm not going to do it just to prove how it works, but we'll go like that. That out. Slide that out. You can look. There's the flow needle. Okay. Next thing. There's the baffle. Take that out. Set it down. Next thing is we're going to take all the jets out that we can. This one only has 2 removable jets, so we're going to take those out. They take a flat blade screwdriver. And you want to use the screwdriver that's about the right size of the hole. If you use too small or too big a one, well, too big a one won't go into the slot. Too small one will actually end up rounding them out. So, same kind of thing. You want to be square up with that. Take that out. That's the main jet right there. Main jet's always right there. Kind of in the middle of the carburetor. Now we're going to take that out. There's pilot jet. Now we're going to take the diaphragm out. Always want to take the diaphragm, even if it's just a jet that's clogged, you want to take the diaphragm out and look at it, because a lot of times they'll get a little hole in them, and then the slide doesn't move up and down like it's supposed to because it doesn't hold pressure on one side or the other. So you always want to take that out. And like you'll see here, I'm just kind of like letting those like go wherever. It's because I know that the long ones go for the float bowl, the short ones go for the top. You just pay attention, right? So there we go. There's always a spring in there. Keep an eye on that. I'm going to pull it out. While we get it out, let's go ahead and you can look at it. And I kind of take it and stretch it and look at it. Now you take a look at that. See that right there? That black line right there. That's from the old gas. That's the varnish on there. So we're going to have to want to wash that. There are jets in there, but you can't get them out. So the last thing to take out is this. This is the air cut valve. There's a diaphragm in there too and a spring. So we want to pay attention as we take it off because the diaphragm goes a certain way. We want to make sure we get it back in there the same way it came out. There's that. So you look at that diaphragm. We take it out. You'll see. Take a look at it there. There's a long end on that end, so that goes in. You can either just remember that or write it down, take a picture, whatever. I know how they go. This thing actually looks great. You want to look at that diaphragm just like you look at the other one. Take a good close look at it. They get holes on them too, just from life. Got all that disassembled. Now we're gonna take it over, put it in our ultrasonic cleaner, which we have to turn on and get heating up. I'm gonna put a link in the description for this thing. I bought this thing on Amazon. It's been great. It's like 150, 160 bucks, and it's really nice. It's big. It gets really nice and hot. So turn that on. Let it warm up. It's in Celsius, so 80 degrees Celsius is crazy hot. It won't get that hot by the time we're done with it. But. All right, we got everything disassembled as you saw. Now we got it in this basket. The big parts are in this basket. Little parts in the little can. And we're going to clean all of it. Now, we actually have a carburetor rebuild kit for this whole thing, so we're going to replace all the rubber and anything that's worn out. But I like to go ahead and I'm just going to show you guys how we would clean it if we were just going to reinstall it. But we get everything clean, and then we'll put this thing back together. I got the ultrasonic cleaner set to run for about 40 minutes. That's kind of a long time, but also it gets everything super nice and clean. All right, now we wait. All right, we got the carburetor out of the ultrasonic cleaner. Now let's put the thing back together. But before we put it back together, let me show you what we do to make sure we got everything all super duper clean. So it really helps to have compressed air when you're doing this stuff. So you can blow through things with a little bit of force to make sure it's got all the water and everything out of it. But I like to take this and blow through every passage in the carburetor and make sure they all blow through good. See that water right there? So we're gonna can also use it to dry it out. Like I said, it's been in the ultrasonic cleaner getting wet. Also, super important thing, these jets up here, you want to make sure you blow through them. So as you're blowing these things out, you want to make sure you get the fuel screw out. So there it is. I've already removed it. We have a new one to put in there. It comes with, this bike comes with one that's got this D-shaped deal on it that's hard to adjust. You have to have a special tool. The rebuild kit we have has a normal flat blade. So, but that is a really important thing to blow through. A lot of people, when they do carburetors, don't blow through the fuel screw. They forget to take it out. They don't know it's there. But that is part of the pilot circuit, and if you don't get that clean, the bike will never start in idle. So blow through there. Now there's a spring. So it goes. There's a spring and a washer and an O-ring in there. You got to make sure you get that old O-ring and washer out. Sometimes they're kind of a pain, so you got to get a pick in there. There we go. Because if you don't get that out, then you'll end up with two versions of it in there, and it won't be right. So now we got that out. Blow through everything. All right, so now we got it clean. All the passageways are super clean and blown out. We're ready to put her back together. I'm not going to bore you guys with putting it back together. I'm pretty sure that if you can make it this far, you know how to put it back together. The one thing I'll say is just make sure you start everything by hand. Be really careful and don't strip anything out, and you'll have it ready to rock and roll. Have a great day, guys. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Appreciate all the likes, all the shares, all the subscribers. You guys are awesome. Get out there, spread the gospel of two wheels, and please find a little bit of time to go ride your dirt bikes.